Hey everyone, this is Tasty Taste from Blood of Kittens, and let's get to talking some Tyranid domination. But it's not as dominating as you think. Right after this, quick intro! Hello and welcome back to the week that was in Warhammer 40k tournaments, where we speed through some of the winning lists from the previous weekend. Last weekend saw 7 events with at least 5 rounds and 28 players with one major event. Tyranids have risen to the top, as expected, by grabbing 8 out of the 21 possible podiums. But the real story continues to be the other factions holding on to their own, as we had 7 other factions grabbing spots. Now let's take a quick sample look at some of the lists that tried to stand out over the last weekend. Jumping right into the biggest event from last weekend, the Dallas Open, with over 150 players, we had Nick Nadavati going 8-0 and grabbing first place with his Aeldari list. Continuing the trend from last week, we see this list leaning heavily into mobility with units of Wind Riders, Vipers, and Swooping Hawks. Nick's list also features the Webway Gate, which hasn't seen much play, even though it breaks some of the quote-unquote fundamental rules of the game. Nick's road to 8-0 had him go through Sisters, Tyranids, some more Sisters, Eldar, Goth Orks, Thousand Sons, some more Thousand Sons, and finally an all-jump pack Blood Angels list. Next, at the Battle Shock GT, we got a surprise with Marshall Peterson grabbing 3rd place with the much derided Orks. Marshall went with little used blood axes, going full commando and tank busting. How his army got this far is impressive, but he did get an assist by having a bye in his first round. But he still performed very well. Marshall went 5-1 by beating Mixed Chaos, losing to the eventual first place winning Tyranids. Then he beat Aeldari, followed by Tyranids, and then finally beat Custodes. Moving on to the West of Scotland GT number 2, Chris Machee's Grey Knights held off Aeldari by going 5-0 and getting first place. His list again showed how the meta for Grey Knights is changing by taking a chaplain and a unit of paladins. His list also only had 2 Dread Knights, a move from the typical 3 we see. Chris went through Genestealer Cult, Sanguinary Guard, Blood Angels, and AdMech Imperial Knight list, Harlequins, and then finally Thousand Sons. At the Dog Invitational, Thomas Ogden got first place with an almost perfect battle point score and his absolutely disgusting Tau list. Thomas went with all crisis suits, almost 20 of them floating across the board. This list will just shoot and remove your entire army fairly quickly if you don't go first. Thomas crushed an Eldar Drukhari list, Space Wolves, a Fire Prism Eldar list, a Tau mirror match, and finally beat Tyranids. The War of the Berg saw John Damaris, unlike Thomas, ask the question, I don't have to kill you if you just can't kill me, with his first place 5-0 Deathwing Dark Angels list. John's list decided to drop 40 Terminators on the board and beg anyone to remove them. The gross simplicity of this list and armor contempt with native transhuman is amazing. John faced Tyranids, Custodes, another Deathwing army, Drukhari, and then finally beat Aeldari. On to the QGG kickoff and 3rd place Wayne Russell's Death Guard, grabbing 3rd place, going 4-1. Like John, in the last event, he went all Terminators, but of course it was Death Guard, so this is 30 Blightlord Terminators doing the job. Buffed by almost every Death Guard character as possible, this list had every trick in the book to give the Terminators a chance to deal with any threat. Wayne didn't get off to a good start by losing to Tau, but then he went on to win the rest of his games, beating White Scars, Thousand Sons, Orks, and then Necrons. Last but not least, we have the Clash of Alba 2022 and Innes Wilson doing the rest of the field dirty by going 5-0 in first place with a Tyranid grab bag. This list is a great balance of a lot of units without spamming, showing off the flexibility of this entire army. Innes did somewhat lean into flying things running into your face, while the rest of his army moved up the board. Of course, having 2 Hive Tyrants and Tyrant Guard helps a lot, which looks like the linchpin of this list. Innes won by winning against Mixed Tau, Tyranids, Tyranids again, Death Guard, and then finally beating Aeldari. Well, that will do it for this week. Thanks for watching. Now we just have to see if Tyranids will start pushing out all the other factions. While they might be top dog, so far we're seeing resistance to their domination. Don't forget though, if you want to see the rest of these top 3 lists in complete detail, click on the links in the description below. And as always, if you like this content, please leave a comment, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and ring that bell.